It's 11 at night. You're finally in bed. Your dog has a perfectly good bed of their own, a warm spot on the couch, the entire living room floor, but instead, they're here, wedged between your legs, pressed against your skin. Every single night, same spot, same routine. Most people have two explanations for this. Either your dog is cold or your dog is clingy. Both are wrong. Behavioral science points to something much deeper. P. Something that starts with a simple question. What does your dog actually see when they look at you before closing their eyes? In 1998, researchers at EOTV's Lorand University in Hungary did something no one had tried before. They took a test designed for human infants, the Ainsworth Strange situation, and adapted it for dogs. The test measures attachment, how a subject responds when their caregiver leaves the room, and when they come back. Out of the dogs tested, 61% were classified as securely attached, the same proportion found in human toddlers. Your dog doesn't just like being around you, behaviorally. Your dog treats you the way an infant treats its mother. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2003, Previde and colleagues tested what's called the secure base effect. When you're in the room, your dog explores more. They approach new objects, they engage with strangers. The moment you leave, they stop. Stress signals increase, exploration drops. In attachment science, there's a term for the person you return to when the world feels uncertain. The secure base, that's you. Now, think about sleep. Sleep is when your dog is most vulnerable. Eyes closed, muscles relaxed, awareness dimmed. And in that moment of maximum vulnerability, they choose to be pressed against you. They're choosing their secure base at the exact moment they need it most. But attachment is only the beginning. In 2015, neuroscientist Gregory Burns at Emory University did something extraordinary. He trained dogs to lie still inside an fMRI scanner, fully awake, no sedation. Then, he presented them with different scents, strangers, other dogs, and their owner. When dogs smelled their owner, a specific region lit up. The caudate nucleus. That's the brain's reward center, the same region that activates in humans when they see someone they love. Your dog's brain responds to your scent, the way your brain responds to a loved one. And here's where it gets even deeper. In the same year, Nagasawa and colleagues at Asabu University in Japan discovered something remarkable. When you and your dog make physical contact, both of your bodies release oxytocin. Not just yours, not just theirs, both, simultaneously. Oxytocin is sometimes called the bonding hormone. It's the same chemical that floods a mother's brain when she holds her newborn. The exact same mechanism, operating across species. So, here's what's actually happening when your dog presses against your legs at night. Fur touches skin. That contact activates something called C-tactile afferents, specialized nerve fibers that respond specifically to gentle touch. Those fibers send signals that trigger oxytocin release. Oxytocin suppresses cortisol, the stress hormone. Your heart rate slows. Your dog's heart rate slows. Both of you become calmer. This isn't affection in the way you might think. This is co-regulation, a biological feedback loop, and it runs in both directions. It's not habit, it's a chemical reaction, and it happens in both directions. But here's the part no one talks about. In 2014, researchers at the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, led by Anna Kiss, attached EEG electrodes to sleeping dogs. They measured brain waves, sleep stages, and arousal patterns. And what they found changed how we understand canine sleep. When the owner was present, dogs spent more time in deep sleep. They startled less, their REM cycles were longer and less fragmented. Your presence doesn't just comfort your dog emotionally, it physically restructures their sleep. A 2021 study by Parthasarathi and Bhatt measured something even more specific. They collected salivary cortisol samples from dogs sleeping near their owners versus sleeping alone. The result was significant. Dogs sleeping next to their owners had measurably lower cortisol. This isn't about feelings, this is chemistry. Stress reduction you can measure in a lab. Deep sleep isn't just rest. It's when the brain consolidates memories, processes the day's experiences, repairs immune function. Your dog enters deeper sleep when they're pressed against you, which means their brain processes more efficiently. Their immune system recovers more fully. You are not just emotional support for your dog. You are a biological upgrade to their sleep. You're not just a warm body. You are your dog's biological sleep medicine. Now, some of you might be thinking, is this actually anxiety? Is my dog sleeping on me because something's wrong? In 2000, Takuchi and colleagues studied the relationship between where dogs sleep and separation-related behaviors. They found a correlation. Dogs that slept closest to their owners did score higher on certain behavioral assessments. But, and this is critical, the spectrum is wide. Some dogs press against you because they're at peace. Others, because they're in distress. Most fall somewhere in between. Proximity alone doesn't tell you which. Veterinary behaviorist Karen Overall addressed this directly. Her clinical framework draws a clear line between two types of proximity seeking: comfort seeking, which is normal, healthy attachment behavior, and anxiety-driven proximity, which is pathological. The signs are different, the body language is different, the context is different, and the distinction matters. The question isn't whether your dog is clingy. The question is whether your dog clings from peace, pransex, or from panic. To understand why, we need to go deeper, into the emotional circuitry itself. Neuroscientist Jacques Panksepp spent decades mapping the primary emotional systems in mammalian brains. One of them is called the panic grief system. When a young mammal is separated from its attachment figure, this circuit fires hard. It produces distress vocalizations, elevated cortisol, and agitation. And there's only one thing that consistently shuts it down. Physical contact with the attachment figure. Not food. Not warmth. Not distraction. Just contact. In 2013, Siniscalchi and colleagues demonstrated something fascinating about how dogs process emotions. They found that emotional processing in dogs is lateralized, just like in humans. The right hemisphere handles negative emotions. Stress, W fear, W fear, W fear, W. Anxiety, when a dog is near its owner, research suggests this imbalance shifts. The presence of their attachment figure appears to help rebalance brain activity. Your proximity may literally help your dog's brain manage difficult emotions. Dogs don't press against you at night because they like it. Behaviorally, it's consistent with something deeper. Their brain needs you to turn off the alarm system inside them. But here's where the story goes back much further than any laboratory. Raymond and Lorna Coppinger traced the origins of dog domestication to proto-dogs. Wild canids that scavenged at the edges of human settlements roughly 15,000 years ago. Those early dogs didn't sleep alone. They slept in clusters at the edges of human camps, sharing body heat, taking turns on guard. Sleeping close to another warm body wasn't preference. It was survival strategy. And that instinct didn't disappear. It migrated. From fellow dogs to you. What happened next surprised even the researchers. Dom McCloskey and colleagues at Erasmus University compared dogs and wolves raised in identical human-bonded conditions. Same exposure, same socialization, same opportunity to bond. The wolves were socialized and friendly, but they didn't seek physical contact during sleep. The dogs did. Every time, something changed in domestication, not just tolerance. Active contact seeking. Dogs carry genes that wolves don't. Genes that shaped this exact behavior. James Serpell documented the selection pressure that made this possible. For 15,000 years, the dogs that tolerated human proximity survived. The ones that didn't pass on their genes. Generation after generation, this pressure shaped the animal sleeping between your legs right now. Your dog sleeping against you isn't personality. It's the product of 15,000 years of evolution. Dogs didn't learn to sleep against you. They were born to do it. And there's one more layer worth exploring. In 2012, McGreevy and colleagues examined how breed morphology affects proximity-seeking behavior. What they found was nuanced. Smaller breeds tend to seek contact more frequently. They climb on laps. They burrow under blankets. But larger breeds, when they do make contact, apply significantly more physical pressure. Same underlying need, completely different expression. A Chihuahua curls into your neck, a Labrador pins your legs to the mattress. The drive is identical. But this isn't a one-way street. In 2014, Stokel and colleagues scanned the brains of dog owners. They showed them photos of their dogs and photos of their own children. The neural activation patterns were strikingly similar. The same regions associated with bonding, reward, and emotional attachment lit up for both. You respond to your dog the way you respond to your own child. Neurologically, the bond runs both ways. You need your dog, as much as they need you. Now, one thing worth paying attention to, there's a difference between a dog that sleeps against you and settles peacefully, and a dog that can't be separated from you at all. If your dog whines when you leave the room, if they pant heavily at bedtime, if they can't stay calm during the day without physical contact, if they destroy things when left alone, those are different signals. That pattern may be less about comfort and more about distress, and it's worth noticing. And here's something important. If you've been sharing a bed with your dog for years, don't suddenly force them to sleep elsewhere. Removing their secure base abruptly can spike cortisol and increase anxiety. If something feels off, or if the behavior has changed suddenly, a veterinary behaviorist can help sort out what's happening. Your job isn't to diagnose, your job is to notice. So, when 30 kilograms of dog presses into the space between your legs, not when they circle twice and drop, not when you lose half the mattress again. Remember, not habit, that's attachment. Oxytocin. WPCC. Co-regulation. 15,000 years of evolution. A panic system that only shuts down with contact. A brain that literally sleeps better because you're there. All of it. WPCC. Compressed into one act. Choosing to sleep next to you. Where does your dog choose to sleep? Tell us in the comments.